up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Tuesday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. I hope each and every one of you are doing great despite the times that we're living in. Like, let's keep it real. If you could please hit that like button. If you could please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up, what's up, what's up? Today, I'm kicking it old school, man. I'm going to the day of my arrest. I've never told the story on the channel, I don't think. And I just want to share how I feel like I'm genuinely blessed to be free right now. Because there's a lot of things that could have happened, a lot of crooked crap that was going down, and my lawyer told me was they had one intention, and that was to fry me at all costs, but something intervened and saved my life, and I'll explain that in just a second. So when I do anything, I'm all in. There's no gas pedal at all. It is 100 miles an hour forward at all times. Mode, like I have a job to do, I guess. I have something that I am focused on. Typically it's making money. And when I'm hyper focused on something like addiction, then I can become a pretty crazy dude. I can get to a place where I just don't really care. I just decide that I've crossed that line. And from this point forward, the only time I'm stopping is when I get arrested. And it's a crazy mindset to have, especially considering I was a multiple-time federal offender already. And I was just doing crazy, stupid things without really planning them out thoroughly. And just by the grace of something, I'm not religious, but I feel like there's no way something didn't step in and help me because of just the way that things went. So the day I got arrested, I was in Newmarket, okay? And I was doing break and enters. Now, I was walking around, I was full, lost my mind, okay? Duffel bag, 3 pound sledgehammer, big crowbar, gloves, ready to smash into any house I could find. So I literally was walking around, and I smashed the front door of this house open. I went into like a solarium, smashed the front door of the house open, and I'm up in the house. And when you're up in a house by yourself, I never had co-accused. I didn't want my freedom in somebody else's hands. So I did stupid stuff like roll solo when you're doing crime. It's really stupid. You don't have somebody keeping 6. But at the end of the day, I was greedy because I was an addict. I didn't feel like sharing any money. And also, I didn't feel like somebody else should have the responsibility of my freedom. Just never seemed right to me. Despite the fact that I always grew up around solid dudes that wouldn't put it on each other, I always just felt better doing my crimes alone for the most part all my life, right? Just the way that I was. So I remember I'm like running around, and when you have this, like this adrenaline running through your body, it's almost manic, right? Like your heart rate is boom, 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 boom. Sometimes you gotta go to the bathroom. It's crazy how your body reacts in these circumstances. But I used to feed off of that feeling. And every couple seconds I would keep 6. You know, I'd look out the window. I'd go back to doing what I was doing. 30 seconds later, I'd look out the window, make sure nobody comes home. So anyways, about 5 minutes maybe after I get into the house, I look out the window, nothing. Do what I'm doing. I look out the window, nothing. Do what I do. I look out the window, somebody is reversing into the driveway. Now, there's a lot of people that when they do crime, they don't care. They'll hurt civilians, they'll smash people, they'll tie people up, they'll do any of that stuff. That's not what I'm about. Like, I wanted to make money, but I didn't want to hurt people. I wanted my crime to be as victimless as possible, which, you know, breaking into somebody's house is a piece of crap crime to do. But in my addict mind, I justify it as non-violent, therefore doesn't have as much of an effect on people, although I know that is not facts. But anyways, I didn't want to fight people in the midst of also breaking into their house. I didn't want to hurt them. I didn't want to have to attack them. I would always just cut, right? So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to go down, run down the stairs, run out the back. I already have the back propped open, and I'll be gone out the back. They'll have no idea when it got robbed. They'll call the cops. It won't be a break and enter in progress, and I'll be able to get the hell out of here. Problem is, as I was running down the stairs, I heard sirens. Now, this isn't possible because those people were just pulling in the driveway. They never saw what was going on. They never had a chance to call the police or do anything like that. I already heard sirens. So as I'm running out the back, boom, boom, and keep in mind, I'm a 170-pound crazed addict with a mohawk who isn't going to get more than about a quarter mile before I'm completely exhausted. You know, it's just the way that it was. I was burnt. I've been going on a hard run for almost 3.5, 4 months, and I was ready to be arrested and for jail to save my life once again because it has done so many times. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because what I didn't know until I went to pre-trial, when my lawyer pulled out a huge stack of DVDs. He said, this is surveillance. You were under surveillance for months. Now, when I was out partying just before I got arrested and doing all the dope and stuff, we used to see undies all the time, but I just assumed that they had something to do with the trap house. They were just it was just a heat trap, which it was, right? But the reality was that I was the heat bag. It was me that these cops were following. I remember one specific day, we had been evicted from this house that we were staying at in Richmond Hill, okay? I'm standing out front, and there's this guy sitting in a Volkswagen. He's just staring at us from a parking lot across the house. Everything is pulled out onto the front driveway, and he's got a smirk on his face. So I said, you know what? I just walked across the street. I figured this was an undercover watching a trap house. I didn't figure it was an undercover watching me. But as I walk up, he pulls out, and as he's pulling out into the street, he makes some comment like, "Ha, looks good on you," and drives away laughing that we're being evicted. And it was a crazy eviction. It was so crazy. This person was making thousands of dollars and just for some reason decided that they weren't going to pay rent and made everything super heat bag. But that's another story. That's what happens when you live like maniacs. So, anyways, this stack of DVDs somehow had zero evidence. They had one partial fingerprint for one break and enter, and then they had the break and enter the day that I was arrested, which at the end of the day, you're not beating that charge. Like, they literally caught me jumping over a fence. I ran down the street, ran between these two houses, took this bag of stuff that I had, threw it under like a recycle, you know those wood boxes that you can lift? They'll have like recycling and stuff inside it. I threw the stuff in there. As I turned to go pull back out and run, there's a Fed over the fence, and he's like, if you move, I can shoot you. And I had no doubt in my mind he would have shot me. This was a blind spot, no cameras. They had been chasing me for years and years. I had been tormenting York Region for years and years. And if I would have run at him, I guarantee you, I would have got shot. That's the only way I can get out of there, is running right at him and then go this way. So I just decided it was a wrap. And honestly, I had like this wave of emotions, release. It was almost like, it's a hard feeling to explain, but it's almost as if you're happy that it ended when it did and how it did, despite the fact that you're going to prison. And they were telling me, we got you on so many charges. You are fried. You're double digits, football numbers. We finally got you with everything anyways. So at the end of it, I get charged with 6 break and enters and a bunch of other charges. By the time my case was dealt with, I was convicted of 2 break-and-enters, and I was given 3 years, 8 months, or 44 months for my last and third federal sentence for each break-and-enter concurrent to each, each break-and-enter concurrent to each other, right? So even though I had 2 break-and-enters, it was 44 months for one, 44 months for the other, run concurrent. That way, if I ever get charged again for a break-and-enter, they can go 6, 7, 8 years, because you're never going to get less. When I got sentenced, the judge literally said, you should be saying thank you for me accepting this plea deal. Despite the fact that I was getting almost 4 years for 2 break-and-enters, where nobody was hurt, there was nobody in the house, and I was basically caught right on the scene. So, when I was going through my trial, my lawyer straight up told me to my face, they were going to just let you rob houses over and over and over. Get involved in whatever you get involved with and just film you doing it at all costs. You mean even though there's people's houses being robbed, they're prepared to sacrifice that to get me more time? Yes. You should actually feel very lucky that something intervened that day and those people came home and it ended the way it did rather than 2, 3 months later. And I knew that I was under investigation, but I didn't know how deep, because me and this dude got pulled over one day and he got arrested and they let me go. And I was like, why would they let me go? Like, I'm the one with the federal record. Turns out I was under surveillance. They wanted to bury me. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I played the game too many times. I rolled the dice too many times with my life, with my freedom, with all of that. And it's crazy to think that I'm able to be in the situation I'm in right now, succeeding the way that I'm succeeding. I'm not rich. I don't have everything that I need. I struggle day to day, but I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't feel like I'm running. You understand? And when you're in the criminal lifestyle, you don't ever get a foothold with freedom. You're kind of always looking over your shoulder, even if you have a little stretch, expecting things to go bad, because everybody around you expects it to go bad for you. Once a failure, always a failure, right? Wrong. You can turn it around. That was a wake-up call that I needed, knowing that they were prepared to let me fry. And just think, 20, 15, 12 even years for break-and-enters. Like, the sentence that I did for break-and-enters were bananas in themselves and totally not worth it. But really, no crime is worth it in the end, because at the end of the day, any crime you succeed, greed gets involved and you do another one. And if you succeed on that one, you'll do another one. There's no one crime, stop, invest in legal things. You get cocky, you get arrogant, you think you can beat the system, but you can't. The more money you make, the more drugs you do, the sloppier you get, the more likely it is that you're going to get picked up and arrested for something because of sloppiness. And it just gets to a point where you're literally running every day of your life, even when you're not. Freedom is a must. And you can't be free on probation, on parole, running from charges, none of that. Sure, you have to get to a point in your mind where you are at peace with whatever happens, you know? Like, I'm at peace with my life. I try my best to educate people coming after me not to do it, not to get involved in this life. I wasn't a violent person, but I was definitely a greedy person, a selfish person, and I definitely did a lot of bad things. And that last sentence showed me how close I was to giving up my freedom for life on the installment plan. I know guys that literally killed people that did half as much time as me for break-and-enters and petty crime. just recidivism, in and out, in and out, in and out, caught up in the hamster wheel, the perpetual lifestyle they want you caught up in for their job security. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys, so you guys don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my finger, nobody goes to prison. Nobody ever has to go out and break the law to eat, or nobody's ribs is touching. That's what I do, but that is not a reality, especially in 2021. Everything is so expensive. Life is getting more difficult by the year. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive, to feed your family. And sometimes those decisions can land you in jail. My videos hopefully will help you at least understand, have an expectation of what may happen if you go in looking at some time, and how to behave when you do. And most likely what to expect when you're there from the people there. I definitely think that there needs to be more people talking about this and how not cool it is. Reality. And any real G's going to tell you that. You have knuckleheads that are always going to, I want to be a convict, blah, 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 blah. But they're never going to tell the people they love to go live like that. If you're a good person, you're not going to do that, right? Like, you know it's wrong. So now that I'm done with that life, now that I'm working legitimate, though, I feel like there's a lot more to live for. I feel like I'm blessed that I was able to get the amount of time I got last time, despite the fact that it was years, and that I'm here and I'm able to function in society despite it all. Love each and every one of you at the new Matt Clark. Oh yeah, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of all of my videos. I had a phone call. That's why this happened. Love each and every one of you. The new Matt Clark.